This is Chaplain Tyler, and you're watching this video on You Got This with Tyler. Today I'm going to talk about 3 failures that I had. 3 specific situations where, no question, I failed. We try the best we can, and sometimes due to whatever reason, it just doesn't work. Sometimes the greatest learnings come from failures, and by sharing these, I hope that you can, learn with me. So, the first situation I want to talk about is one where I was working at a trauma hospital in a major city. And we had a man come into the emergency that I got a call for to come to be with the family. The man had completed ending his life in a very violent way. And the situation was one in which the family, they were not going to be able to have a memorial or a funeral for him. And so while his immediate family was there, they were waiting for, if I remember correctly, a brother and his family to come from a neighboring city about an hour and a half away in order to say goodbye. There wouldn't be any other opportunity. Well, about half an hour into waiting for this other family, this young man shows up and says, "I'm here on behalf of the city morgue, and I'm here to take the body." And I went, no, you're not. We need to wait a little bit because we have the other family members coming. And he went, "Nope, doesn't matter. I'm here to take the body." And I went, can we talk about this? Is there anything that we can do with this? He goes, "Nope, I'm here to take the body." And being with the family and understanding their process and knowing that there was not going to be any other time to say goodbye, I said, "No, you're not. Is there someone that I can talk to, like your boss?" And I said it very directly. And so he went, "Okay, let's call." I'm like, "Sounds good." And so we went to one of the phones there in one of the rooms and called, and I talked with the director of the city morgue, and they said, "Okay, put the other young guy on." And after hearing the situation, and when the young man came on, the director told him, "No, you wait. There's not that much time coming here, and you can afford to wait. So don't make waves here. There's no point." So the young man got off the phone and said, "Okay, yeah, we'll wait for whatever family members come." And I said, "No problem. I will do my best to help them with their process so that we can get you going as quickly as possible." Okay, so we worked it through. And the other family came. They said goodbye. I was able to work with them, and literally within the hour and a half, everybody was gone, and we had done what we needed to do. So from a therapeutic point of view, I did the right thing. Where I failed was in how I presented it and where. The young man did not give me a whole lot of opportunity. I actually had to get in front of him to not go into the room and get him things going. And so we while there was no real confrontation, the problem was that there were other patients in that emergency on stretchers in the hallways. And one of the patients overheard the exchange that happened and reported that to the charge nurse and said that they were disturbed by our conversation, by the city morgue or coroner's conversation with me. Well, I heard about that the next day. And what I learned in that is that even though I did the right thing from a therapeutic point of view, I just wasn't careful enough or sensitive enough with the other people around to keep them from being disturbed. It was a real difficult situation, one that I had to act quickly in. But maybe very much so, I needed to be able to find a way to do so in a way that was not going to disturb anybody else. And from that time forward, I learned to absolutely prioritize that if there's any kind of discussion of any nature, any kind of intervention or confrontation or anything, that I make sure to separate that confrontation or discussion from anybody else that might overhear. Again, in my zeal to represent the family and protect their interests, I just failed to be quite as sensitive as I needed to be. So if ever you have a situation that calls for immediate action where the person isn't allowing you to, they aren't allowing you to do anything else except react in that moment to them, find a way to get them into private. Find a way. And even though I asked him to talk about things in private later, it was already too late. I shouldn't have done it that way. So that's the first one. Second one happened when I was working in long-term care, and I was asked by the unit manager to go to talk with a particular resident. And this particular resident was bedridden. She was not able to get up. She had mental capacity, but no physical capacity. And this lady had been expressing a lot of unresolved grief and sorrow and depression and anxiety. And so when that happens, what do? You call the chaplain. So I came to the room, knocked on the door. Door was open. I just knocked on the door. And she answered, and I said, "Hi, this is the chaplain. I'm Tyler." And she didn't invite me in. So I was respectful enough and sensitive enough at that point, and I said, I just wanted to find out how you're doing, and we had a brief conversation. And I said, "No, okay, I'll come check on you again, just see how you're doing." And I left. Well, the problem was that I never invited myself to come in. I stood in the doorway, trying to be respectful of her. What I didn't understand was that this was triggering to her. What I didn't know was that she had had some very unsafe situations with men, and she felt unsafe when I stayed and blocked the door. Now, it doesn't matter that she couldn't get up out of bed. It didn't matter that the capacity wasn't there. What mattered was how she felt. And I learned in that my presence, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", and I'm fairly just big. And that physical presence can be intimidating for some people. And I learned, and in retrospect, what I believe I should have done, and I started to do after, was that whenever I came to a door, whenever I came to a person's room, I would introduce myself, and then I would say, is it okay if I come in and we can visit just for a few minutes? If I don't, and I found that if I don't take that initiative and actually invite myself in, then I might be too oversensitive, or in trying to be respectful, I would inadvertently put myself in a position where I would be either looking down on them because of my height, or I would be blocking their exit, whether or not they could get out. If they felt like I was blocking their exit, that was already enough. That was not where I wanted to go and not how I wanted to be perceived. I'm here to provide safety and comfort and trust. So I learned always invite myself in. If they say no, then they say no. And that's only happened once or twice. But if I stay at the door and I just talk, then there's too much of a chance that somebody, perhaps with a history of being hurt, could feel trapped and could feel that I was threatening just because of my size. So I learned on that one as well. Never had that problem again. Thank you, God. The third one that happened was I was working in a community hospital, and I got a call to come and work with somebody in psychiatry. Now, I had worked with hundreds of patients in psychiatry, but for whatever reason, this particular person caught me in a way that no other patient had. And this patient developed emotional attachment to me. That's usually called transference. Well, I cared about how they were doing. I cared about being able to help them. And I was not wise enough at that time to understand how somebody's feelings for me could affect me. And I started to experience countertransference, meaning that I began to experience their feelings of emotion for me and begin to feel emotions back for them. And what in that case, as soon as any kind of emotional boundary like that is compromised, what needs to occur for both people is a very specific setting of boundaries and or severance of the therapeutic relationship. Now, in this case, the person left the hospital, and I didn't see them again for several months. And I can honestly say that I never acted on the countertransference. But what I will not know is how that affected the possibility of further healing and support that I could have given, or that others could have given, maybe in a better way. And I don't know the outcome, and I will never know. I learned from that once that kind of objectivity, that there's a kind of therapeutic objectivity that needs to be in place. And somebody, even meaning really well, can very easily, because of the triggers that come up in them, unresolved issues or hurts or things like that, it's very, very easy to start. It starts with over empathizing with somebody, or believing that you understand them really well. It can lead to it can lead to thoughts of things like, well, I know how to, because I understand them, I can help them the best. Because of the good relationship we have, it's easy for us to move into good therapeutic conversations and dialogue. And all of that may be true. But when that objectivity is gone, the time has come to either sever the relationship or have a very serious discussion about appropriate boundaries and what you can and cannot do. And that particular circumstance really caught me off guard. I had worked with hundreds of patients in psychiatry before that, and I had worked with thousands of people in all sorts of different settings, from acute care and long-term care and palliative care and everywhere. And I had not had a situation like that come up. So this one took me a little bit by surprise. From that I learned, once the objectivity and the therapeutic relationship is gone, you have to move on. You have to find a way to get them to somebody else, or you have to find a way to reestablish that appropriate boundary. And that's hard. That's really hard to do. So don't play with it. Don't worry. Don't sit in it. Don't think that you're the only one that can help them. That's a delusion. Don't think that because you have such a good relationship with them that that it's going to lead to positive therapeutic outcomes. No. Allow other people to help you. Allow them to let you know when you're crossing a line. It can happen easily, it can happen fast, and it can happen unexpectedly. So guard yourself professionally, guard yourself personally, and make sure that you come with an open heart, because you're not going to be successful if you don't come with an open heart. But watch when you go over that line and it becomes too much for where you lose your objectivity. That's the time to stop. So there you have 3 of my failings. The good news is that every single one of them taught me something, and I have been better and better as a support care worker from them. I've not fallen into the same failings, and each opportunity is an opportunity to work on ourselves, and I do, and I take it very seriously. So I hope that helps. It's just something. It's interesting. Failings are nothing to worry about, really. Forgive yourself, learn, and move forward. Look at your roots. Why did it catch you? Why did these things occur? What were the things? I had to stop and ask myself, with the lady who didn't invite me into her room, I had to say, why did I not ask? What was it that stopped me? Was it just that I was being respectful and sensitive? Or was there a fear in me of putting myself forward? I have to ask that. I had to ask, with the situation in the trauma hospital, with the man who and the family who were coming from afar to do a viewing. I had to ask, what was the emotion that came up in me, and why did it prevent me from thinking of other people around? What was it? I had to ask myself, what was it in me that allowed for any kind of countertransference? And I had to work with that and think about it and process it. And again, I'm a lot, each time I learn and I move forward, and I'm a lot more grounded in all these areas because of them today. So if you're going to take anything away from this video, let it be that every failure you have is truly an opportunity to learn and grow. It really is. And I know you can, because I can. And if I can, and I'm the most stubborn, ridiculous person that I know, if I can do it, you can do it. This is Chaplain Tyler signing off. Have a blessed rest of your day. And again, remember, I see you, I believe in you, and you got this. Take care.